the importance of the one dish with one spoon covenant, a peace agreement made between Indigenous nations before the Europeans arrived. It characterizes our collective responsibility to each other and Mother Earth. We should take only what we need, leave enough for others, and keep the dish clean. By acknowledging this covenant and the First Nation, Métis, and Inuit peoples, we are reminded of our important connection to this land where we live, learn, and work together as a community. And welcome again to the January meeting of the Committee of Adjustment. I'd like to introduce our committee. Insert names here. Tonight we have Peter Rowe, Tyler Bowman, and Louise Lalonde, as well Cameron Miller. These will be the Secretary Treasurer of the committee for tonight's meeting. And I am Steve Miller, temporary chair of the committee. We're an independent body appointed by Wilmot Township Council. We have the power to make minor changes to existing zoning regulations and to improve some changes to existing non-conforming uses and to give consent. Each applicant will be notified in writing of the decision within 10 days. With the decision will be introductions on how it could be appealed. Any decision made by this committee can be appealed by the local planning appeal tribunal or to the local planning appeal tribunal, who will then hold a meeting and make a final decision. If the decision on a minor variance is not appealed, it becomes final and binding after 20 days from the date of the meeting. If the decision on a consent is not appealed, it becomes final and binding after 20 days from the date the decision is mailed. The format for the meeting will be as follows. Mr. Miller will introduce the application. The applicant will then be invited to come forward or speak online and any additional information they wish to add. Following this, anyone else online will have the opportunity to speak for or against the application. The committee members may then question the applicant and the committee will make a decision. Before we begin the meeting, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? Seeing none, Mr. Miller will introduce our first, I believe, and only application.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Yeah, the application tonight is a consent application B01/21. It's proposing to convey approximately 0.2 hectares of land as a lot addition from 1720 Hallman Road to the abutting property 1680 Hallman Road. The purpose of this application is to, again, for a lot addition, but in part to recognize the historic use and occupation of the property, which is as illustrated on the attached sketch. Apart from recognizing the historic use and occupation of the property, the applicant is also seeking this lot addition to meet the minimum lot area requirement of 1.2 hectares to keep livestock for commercial purposes. As discussed in the report, the conveyance of land from a farm property to a non-farm property is generally prohibited in township policies, regional and provincial policies. However, there are exceptions for minor lot boundary adjustments to recognize patterns of exclusive use and occupancy. Aerial imagery clearly shows that the lands proposed to be added have been used by and visually already appear to be a part of the subject property. And moreover, the lot addition as proposed is not going to be removing any actively farmed land from agricultural production. No concerns were raised through circulating the application, and staff are therefore recommending approval of the consent subject to a number of standard conditions imposed by the township.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Would the applicant like to speak on behalf of this application?
There's no one connected, so it's just us.
No one came in. Okay. I guess we don't have any questions for the applicant then either. Can I have a motion from the committee on this application? Ms. Lalonde moves to approve.
I move to approve.
And second, Mr. Rowe. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, the last order of business for tonight's meeting is approval of the minutes from our December meeting. Can I have a motion on these minutes? Moved by Mr. Bowman, seconded by Ms. Lalonde. Any comments or questions? All in favor? And I think that carried as well. Anything else we need to do, Mr. Miller, Mr. Martin?
I guess just potential dates for the next meeting. Andrew and I haven't really discussed it. We had some applications that are potentially in the works, but I don't believe any have been filed at this time. Is that correct, Andrew?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I guess in theory we would hold a date in February just in case. So that would be February 3rd typically. Does that work for everyone? Or,
Yep, that works.
so we'll confirm over the next, within the next couple of weeks, whether that is happening or not. But yeah, we'll maybe hold that as the potential date.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks.
Have a good
Okay,
night.
get back to CNN now.
Yeah.